Hello and welcome to WES Round 3 at Chirard Clermont-Ferrand, presented by Magneti Marelli Checkstar. The French venue of this spectacular motorsport circuit is located close to a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's hosting the turning point of the season, witnessing some interesting changes in the overall riders and team standings. Sophia Weinroth from Specialized is returning to the track after injury. So let's hear about her expectations.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back racing. Of course, it's a bit difficult for me at the moment without any bike preparation, but yeah, I want to give it a try and see what I can do.
After 4 second places in a row, Joris Riff from Bergstrom is thirsty for victory.
I felt pretty good. The track is really great, probably one of the best e-bike tracks I ever ridden on. And yeah, the qualification was perfect. I did a clean run, no mistakes, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to the race.
Joining WES from South Africa, Matt Lombardi from Specialized looks happy to be on the track.
Yeah, pretty good. It's nice that the sun's come out, so ready to give it horns in the race. Yeah, it should be a fun time. Hopefully the track's dried up a little bit. We can have some fun out there.
French women's enduro champion, also at her debut in the series, Laura Charles from Orbea is challenging herself on the e-bike.
It was my first time to ride my e-bike, but yeah, it was super fun. A lot of pleasure to ride the track, and I'm feeling good. But it's hard to find the good feeling. But yeah, I'm fun.
The riders are lining up on race 1's starting grid. Let's have a look at what happened on the track. The riders gridded according to their results in the morning's qualification race. All the riders are focused to do their best. The first 2 riders across the line at the first turn at the start get the whole shots. These are the local heroes in their leaders' jerseys, Jerome Gio of Moustache and Melanie Poujan of BH. The very beginning of the course is marked by the hard stairs to climb up and then descend. It makes this course stand out. A demanding 3-kilometre track, as always, designed to get the most out of the e-bikes that the men and the women in the field had to complete 6 times, total climbing of 1,200 metres. Joris Riff managed to get the lead and keep his rival Gio behind. Some problems for Milton Ramos on one of the technical downhills. World champion Melanie Poujan looked like the one to beat in race 1, and both Natalie Schneider and Sophia Weinroth knew that well. Joris Riff approaching the finish line, while in the women's field the timekeeper's saying there's still 1 lap to go. Race 1 almost over in the men's field, with a visibly happy Joris Riff clinching the first step of the podium for the very first time at WES. It was hard for Gio to catch the Swiss as he wasn't 100% fit, still recovering from being sick the week before the race. 3rd place and great satisfaction for Theo Charme of Cube, scoring 16 important points with his podium. And let's take a look at the podium here. Joris Riff takes the win. Let's hear from him now.
Finally, but yeah, I think the track is just made for me, for my riding skills. Really technical, short climbs. And so I tried it from the beginning, being in front and ride my own race and do as less mistakes as possible. And I think it was almost a perfect race.
A confident Melanie Poujan crossed the line first, while an exhausted Sophia Weinroth managed to get 2nd despite her pre-race predictions. Natalie Schneider completes the women's podium, declaring Poujan today came from a different planet. Let's take a look at the women's top 3 classification. Melanie Poujan takes the win, and let's hear from her now.
Oui, je suis super contente, ça fait plaisir et on continue de mener la course au classement général.
Yeah, I'm very happy to keep the standings lead after leading the race. It's a special racetrack, it's technical and dynamic with steep climbs, steep downhills and no time breaks in between. It was really cool.
Donc c'était particulier mais c'était sympa, ouais.
Celebration time now for the WES women's podium. The first of the weekend with our first three, Schneider, Weinroth and Podium. Traditional bubbles in yellow. The men's podium couldn't be less sparkling than the women's, with a delighted Riff shaking his magnum bottle along with Gio and Charles. A wonderful first day of racing. Let's take a look at race 2. The sun is finally shining on day 2 on the E-Circuit of Chirard, an impressive venue in the Chêne de Puy mountain range. This area features fantastic facilities at the forefront of energy transition within e-mobility and new green energy supply. Chechi Kamwan from Specialized searching for revenge from day 1.
Yesterday I did 3 turns. It was pretty intense and I broke the chain like on the first uphill, but yeah, it was good. I fixed it and I did like maybe 3 or 4 laps. Yeah, I hope today it's gonna be better. I don't know, we'll see, but I will try to go on the podium for sure. And maybe better. I don't know, the guys in front are pretty strong and pretty fast, but yeah, we'll see. I'm happy because it's pretty cool track for e-bikes, like steep uphills and good downhill sections.
Silver medalist at the last World Championships, Sternerman from Thomas makes her comeback at WES round 3.
I'm really happy to be back at the World e-bike series, and it's a super fun track here in France, and I'm excited to race. The practice was fun, the quali race was, yeah, I did some mistakes. There are so many turns and tricky sections which I didn't really had in my mind. So my preparation was maybe not the best for the quali, but I'm ready for the race.
2019 World Champion Natalie Schneider from Trek Bosch is clearly another podium contender.
The track is a lot drier than yesterday, but it's still wet in the forest. I think this afternoon it will dry out quite a bit. So I still go with the same tire choice, mud tire in front and a little bit better rolling tire in the rear. I think in the women's race, Melanie will be very, very hard to beat. And already yesterday I was counting on Laura to have a really good ride. So I think Laura will be on fire today. The Frenchie on a home race.
All set for the start of race 2, with riders taking their spot on the grid and focusing on the last chance in the season to grab important points for the UCI World Championship qualification. An incredibly fast start for Alexander Cure from the BHE racing team, who managed to get his first whole shot of the season and to be second on the tricky stairs of Chirard, just behind Riff. The Frenchman then got passed by Jérôme Gio. The world silver medalist and WES standings leader was on the rear wheel of the Swiss for almost the entire race. In the women's group just behind, after experiencing some problems with her motor, a fighting Melanie Podium, also in her leader's jersey, managed to overtake Sternerman and then Weinroth to finally go and catch Schneider and Charles at the front. Riff still keeping the lead on the rock garden and Gio still runner-up in the race. Chechi Kamwan giving his best to step up on the podium, whilst a convincing Theo Charm found his race pace to double his good results from the previous day. Melanie Podium smoothly on the rock garden in her ride towards the top 3, while Karen Pepper of Lapierre had to leave her second place in the overall standings after the weekend. Theo Charm feeling Chechi Kamwan's breath on his neck in the final rush, while Joris Rief was flying at the finish line to secure his first double at WES. Unhappy but with a smaller gap than day 1, Jérôme Gio got second again in race 2. And right behind him, a dramatic battle for the third step of the podium between Charm and Kamwan. A photo finish with Charm beating the Corsican, once again a protagonist in this exciting race finish. Let's have a look at the men's podium finishers' times. And let's hear now from the winner.
Pretty good race and ride the stairs in the first position. And then I just attacked, but this time Jérôme was really strong. The first 2 laps he was always 10 seconds behind me, and I was a little bit scared that I can't drop him. But then after the 3rd or 4th lap I got the flow, and then I found out that I had a good rhythm and my legs were pretty good. And so I could enjoy the last 2 laps, and it was a really good race.
The women's race ended up with a happy Natalie Schneider in first place. A great second place for Laura Charles at her debut this weekend. And a well-deserved third place for Melanie Poujane and her fight throughout the entire race. Let's take a look at the women's times. And let's catch up with our women's race 2 winner.
Well, it was pretty hard. I felt a lot better than yesterday. Got really into the race mode. Was also a bit lucky because Melanie had a problem after lap 2. But as I got in a really good rhythm, made almost no mistakes, and as we know, bike races are mostly decided by mistakes, and not making any that really helps.
Time to celebrate now and check out the overall standings after race 2. Poujane, Schneider, Weinroth. And it's also time for the men's podium finishers. To spray some deserved champagne. Let's take a look then at the men's riders' standings as of today, and we remind you that the top 15 men and top 15 women in WES standings will have access to the UCI World Championships one-shot event in August to battle for the coveted rainbow jersey. More glory for Schneider and Riff, getting the Magneti Morelli Czech Star Power Lap by setting the fastest lap in 10:52.28 on lap 2 and 9:13.13 on lap 1 respectively. What a great round of racing. It's goodbye for now for the summer break, and we look forward to seeing the top WES athletes competing in the World Championships next month. Bye for now.